Hello, my name is Raymond Karchevsky, and I'm a living Christ. This is going to be a little different from what I have been doing for the last several decades. I have, I'm a man of truth, a simple man of truth who came from humble beginnings. Born on the south side of Chicago, in what might be considered to be a poor Polish family. Back in those days, my dad, Raymond Karchevsky, Sr., worked for 50 cents an hour. I was born in 1937. He provided, he was a good man, a misunderstood man. And in my early beginnings, I was pretty much another mouth to feed. So I was given absolute freedom to go out and find out for myself what the world was all about. It was not closely supervised. So I met the world, and the world that I met was isolated and tough. My dad died an early death at 47, and until that time, he was an outcast from his family and my mother's family. He was a good man, a man of principle, but he never got a chance in life. He was a wage earner. He worked a number of jobs. None of them could be considered a career, but his purpose was to support his family. And that's what he did. And that's what he was doing when he died. Now, I had two older brothers, and a younger brother and a sister, and another sister who had died when I was at the age of 5. So it was a rather substantial family. My mother, on my mother's side, her family was 16. So you can see that we met life as it was. We dealt with it. I dealt with it. At an early age, I succeeded in the physical activities of life. I enjoyed the hobbies of gymnastics. Of course, all of this was on my own. My family had given me free rein to do what I was to do, and they were unconcerned with what I did. That unconcern could be considered lack of love. But I have met that lack of love all my life. I met one person, my wife, who is now deceased. We were married for 49 years. That is the only person that I knew that I had reciprocated love from. It was a good match. I met her in high school. She had complete faith in me. Whatever I did, she would follow me to the ends of the earth, and she would support me. That was the love that I received from that one other human being. What I experienced from everyone else, family members, social contacts, I was not a joiner. I was always an outsider. I was guided by truth in a world of deception. I was not a joiner. I could not join any kind of groupthink organization where I would have to sell out what I perceived to be the truth. And so my formative years were just that. I followed truth. I spoke truth, which got me into a lot of trouble, which isolated me. But I accepted that as the payment that one must make in order to live truth in a deceptive world. So I didn't have many friends, and I still don't. For that truth gets in the way of the average relationship. You see, when you have to walk on eggs around someone and pander to them and tell them lies in return for friendship, their friendship, you're living in this world. This world is based in duality. You see, duality is based in a split consciousness. One of the you and everything that is not you. That is a satanic, dualistic intellect that all are subject to when they live in a world of civilized behavior, which is hell on earth, because everyone is confused, everyone is upset, unbalanced, wanting to be free, wanting to be whole, and they can't seem to do it while they live in their conscious intellect, which is constantly being outwardly affected by mind control, by suggestions, by media, by government, by religions. They set the pattern for the civilized world, and the automatons, the dead human beings who have allowed themselves to be regarded as persons, dead entities created by dead institutions, such as government and religion, banking, corporations. These are all dead ideas that have been conjured up by you. Every one of you is a living man or a woman. But you, in your unholistic race toward power, toward position, sell out in order to be a person employed by the system. And you accept the position that you are capable of carrying out. But you're all in hell. That's my message that I have been bringing to you. And I guess for some reason you think that I'm talking down to you, that I'm condescending to you. You have no idea what the hell you're going through. But you do your best. But you're confused. And you find yourself surrounded by people who are also confused. And they are the controllers of the means of conditioning you through media, through political organizations, through religions, how much money you've got in the bank, and what position you hold, what position of power that you hold in some corporate structure that owns you, that you're a slave. See, most of you are slaves because you're not whole, you're not complete. You must sell yourself out in order to work for someone. Work for someone. You're a slave. Whoever pays you is your master. And that's only the world that you know. You know no other way. Well, I have gone through life and I have started out working just like anybody else. As I say, I came from a background of poverty. And I went along in school, high school, and junior college. I excelled in sports, and that was my ticket, you see. That was my means of handling the hell that I was going through, maintaining my integrity, my, maintaining my truth, you see. But it didn't bring me many friends, and friends were not of my concern when truth was at stake, and it still isn't, you see. My life is a life of truth in a deceptive world, in a hellish world, a dualistic world. And I have learned that one must be balanced in living in their non-dualistic subconscious mind, which is the mind of God, the mind of creation, the mind of non-duality, and balance that with the means of communication, of contacting, of reaching, of linking with others who are lost in their satanically ruled conscious mind, the mind of illusion, you see. Only with a balance between the two can one call themselves a Christ, you see. Otherwise, they're unbalanced. They're a right-minded kook where there are no rules, and that leads to insanity. And the other is the structured area of civilized behavior that we all experience in the Western world, ruled by government and religion, and fueled by the bankers who have access to your means of production. You've lost your ability to be whole because you sell out for fear, for anxiety, for power, for prestige. That's how most of you live, and that's hell. I'm the antidote to that, and you don't like it one bit. If you follow my experiences on the internet, you will see that for 23 years I have been trying to wake you up to the nightmare that you consider civilized life. But those of you who have a good position, who have a little power, who live the illusion of prestige, you don't want to hear it. You don't want to give up what you've struggled for. And so you don't want to hear from me. I understand that. Have at it. Live your life, but I'm talking to those who are born with less than you and have to find their way through life, not equipped to deal with the uncertainties, the unfairness of a life of duality that has been imposed upon you. I look for the living man and the living woman, the holistic creature who is capable of balancing life with their subconscious mind of creation and their satanically ruled conscious intellect, the mind that has control over your thoughts. Let's see. You are all conditioned human beings. You believe in fantasies that have been forcibly pushed on you to accept. You have to believe because you're not capable of understanding. And you will not be capable of understanding as long as you hold to that position of being a member of civilized society where another is your master because he's doing your thinking for you, while you follow his suggestions, or you are punished. Punished by prisons, by law enforcement, by corrupt courts presided over by corrupt judges, and whose servants of satanic lawyers serve the system one, and then serve the system two, you. And they extract your energy. You're down on the totem pole. You see, their first allegiance is that to the courts, to the state, to the judges, and then you, the client. And you pay them with your hard-earned money that you work hard for, and you give it away to them. That's a slave. That's what a slave is all about. Put away your ideas of what slavery means. If you are not whole and you are dependent upon another, be it for a job or a position in hell, you're a slave. So, when I talk to you, I am a living man, a free man, a simple man of truth. I am a Christ. You've been indoctrinated into thinking what a Christ is. That's just an illusion, you see. If you look very deeply into anyone who has achieved the position of Christhood, you will see a simple man of truth who is not the victim of any kind of satanic indoctrination. He's beyond that level of slavery. That's who I am. I speak to you, but you are still slaves, trying to figure out how to get out of the hell that you find your life to be. I have told you, and clearly told you, but are you capable of implementing that in action and relieving yourself of such slavery? So, what am I to do? I cannot tell a lie. I cannot deal in duality in order to make you feel better about yourselves. You're all in hell. It's time for you to understand that, to realize that, and to do something about it. The collapse is coming to the fictitious reality that you have sold your souls for. And if you are not willing to change, to act differently, you will die the slave. Oh, all the pretty pretenses of politicians which take over the media with sound bites, who attract thousands of people to their rallies. Look at those thousands of people They're slaves. They're stupid little people who believe in ideas that are not true, fed by them, by people who have power over them, and they flock to these rallies. That's called a citizen. That's called a Republican or a Democrat. Groupthink. You see, groupthink is all satanic. And if you belong to such parties, you agree to be satanic. So don't complain about your position in life, because you have worked hard for it and you have received your just desserts. You're in hell. I'm not going to beat a dead horse. I'm not going to revel you with fancy words. I'm a tough guy, born in a tough area, raised in a tough world, and I have survived. I have grown beyond their power. The courts have no power over me, man's law, for I follow God's law. Do no harm, tell no lies. You see, that is open to every one of you. But you have been mind controlled into doubting yourselves and selling your souls for security. That's how you became a victim in hell. Well, I'm telling you how to get out of hell, because you can do it anytime, at any moment that you wish to make that transition. And you can see the reception that I am getting. Stupid little people who consider themselves word twisters, mind controllers, who work for government or work for satellite organizations that support government. The disinformation agents that one finds proliferating on these internet groups. They're at work. They've been at work for 23 years. They have failed to make me compromise myself, to make me doubt myself. And they threw up their hands in failure. And they declare that I am dead. Raymond Ronald Karchevsky is dead and has been dead since 2003. That's not true. You see, now they're coming along and they're inserting a number of phony disinformation agents occupying the position of a dead Raymond Karchevsky, and they're writing articles directing to these fictitious people so they can have the defense that they're not defaming Raymond Karchevsky, even though everything of their content is related to this phony name that they are arguing about. So they can claim they weren't talking about me, about Raymond Karchevsky, but in fact they were, because my actions are attributed to phony, fictional persons that they claim to be talking about. And you, the average person, haven't got the capacity to understand how you have been tricked by such tactics. That's why they're called disinformation agents, mind controllers, satanic mind controllers. And you ultimately are not prepared to deal with them, so you cave in to them. Well, I have not caved in 23 years. And what has happened? Government now will ignore me publicly. It will not even acknowledge that I exist. Because if I exist, so does that holistic man or woman of truth that is you exist. And you will see that what I have done, so can you. They lose their power. You see, everything goes away. Poof. No need for a bloody revolution. No need to kill another. You see, everything goes away when you boycott, when you withdraw your energy that supports such organizations of deception. And they cannot continue with it, with what they're doing to you. And it doesn't extract a drop of blood in a bloody revolution. It's a peaceful way. Withdraw your energy, withdraw your support, boycotts. Boycott government, boycott religion, boycott banking, and boycott corporations. And watch your world turn around where you are the master of your world. And you are the master of any fictitious organization that you create. You see, that exists now, but you don't know it. And you have doubted yourself, and therefore your servants, your public servants, have suddenly morphed into your masters, and you are the victims, slaves. That's the present world you live in. That's the hell that you live in. Time to change, is it not?